Greetings, everybody. Welcome to episode 3 of the Psychedelic Laundromat. Coming to you on this Rosh Hashanah day. For those of you who are celebrating, happy holidays to all of you. And we are going to be talking about some numerous things that happened. We didn't have an episode last week because I, for one, was going through a bunch of heat exhaustion. It was at like 110 some odd degrees at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And
Holy crap.
I was driving all the way home and I was like, wait a minute, I am hydrated. I've drank so much water today. I drank a gallon. Why am I so exhausted? And then I found out that even after drinking a gallon of water, I was still dehydrated because it was so hot. So I nearly passed out and I said, we can't do a show. But thankfully today I didn't. It's actually getting cooler down here in Florida. So I didn't have to worry so much about the heat. So we were able to do a show tonight. So welcome. We have some things to go over today, including a Nintendo Direct that happened yesterday or Wednesday. I can't remember which day. All I know is I was excited for the results. And Mr. L, hello. Welcome to the chat, as always. And some other things that we missed throughout the past 2 weeks that I'll try to remember. But if not, then we'll just come up with stuff on the fly because it's supposed to be fun here at the laundromat. It's supposed to kindle our interest, so to speak. But tonight it's going to be me, Mooney, and Sylph. Circus has been sent to horny prison or horny jail for numerous reasons. And hello, Alex.
Hey, Alex.
Welcome. It's good. It's cool to see you. Hopefully on Sunday our football team wins, because on the previous Sunday, what had happened was we watched. It was like the first week of football, so our football team was up there playing in Los Angeles. I prefer San Diego, but they were playing in LA, and we won, and it was so convincing that I have an audio recording of myself screaming with joy on my DM feed with Alex and one of our other friends, and I still have it somewhere. Maybe I'll play it later over the microphone, but it's like one of the few times where I will be running around the room like screaming, jumping up for joy. Besides watching a Nintendo Direct, but yeah, we had a lot of fun watching it. And then Sunday night obviously is another game, so hopefully for Alex and I it will pan out the way we want it to. And yes, Mr. L, horny jail. That is the term that we use when we need to. So when somebody's too horny, we have to put them there. But anyway, so I can't remember. Was it yesterday or Wednesday that we had a Nintendo Direct? I think it was yesterday, because what had happened was the announcement came out Wednesday, and then Thursday at 10, that's when we got the news, of several games that are probably going to be released over the next 2 quarters. And when I say quarters, I mean this upcoming quarter, which is October, November, December, and then the first quarter of 2024, which is the first 4 months of the year, or the first 3 months, I should say, depending on it. Quarters when it comes to tax years are very, very weird. But for the next 2 quarters, that's what we got the announcements for. Mr. L, sports are boring. Me when I was younger, played tons of soccer and won some trophies. Oh, Mr. L, the soccer ace, or the ultimate soccer player, right over here. Gonna be Pele, going all the way to Brazil, win some World Cup championships. Super Mr. L strikers over here. By the way, we did not get an announcement for any Mario sports game, but we did get some other Mario games that were going to be put up for, I should say, the next couple of months. For example, they're bringing back Mario versus Donkey Kong, which is based off of the 1994 Game Boy version of Donkey Kong, the arcade game, which I grew up playing. And it's the same mechanics, the same controls as the Game Boy version, except they modernized it, and now Mario's got to go around and collect miniature toys of himself that Donkey Kong apparently stole. Because he's like, I want toys of me. Why does Mario get all the merchandise? Which I'm sure is based on a true story somewhere. Donkey Kong is probably like, I should get some residuals. I mean, it says in my contract that I'm supposed to get 10% out of the merchandise. I'm barely making any bananas. He's probably so upset because Donkey Kong Country was one of the few games that lasted in the 90s, and then it had to wait till 2007, 2009. I can't remember when Donkey Kong Country Returns was released on the Wii. And that's when he started getting games again.
Oh yeah, I remember this.
Mortal Kombat Nintendo Edition. I don't think Mortal Kombat will ever be released on any of the virtual consoles. I think that's gone. And I don't think Mortal Kombat will ever be on Nintendo. Or at least on the Switch version.
You sure about that?
I don't know. I know the Super Nintendo ones probably won't get put on there. If anything, they'll put Killer Instinct on there before Mortal Kombat if they ever decide to do that. Or whatever that fighting game was with the dinosaurs and the apes. Primal Rage. Is that one? I mean, Primal Rage I could see being on Super Nintendo VC at least, but yeah, anyway, so I think there were 2 Mario versus Donkey Kong games, and so they're gonna release I think they're remastering the first one because it came out on the Game Boy Advance, if I remember correctly. Or the DS. I can't remember. It's been so long since I played it, but yeah, they're going to remaster it for the Switch, which I'm excited for. And apparently they're supposed to be co-op. So one of your friends can play as a Toad and be like, hey, Mario, I'm going to help you get the keys. And
God damn it, Toad.
I was like, why can't you go back to being a captain? It's like, well, I could either be a captain or I could just help you get your precious things back. Oh, Mortal Kombat 1. I forgot about Mortal Kombat 1.
I don't know what else is gonna be there.
Mr. L saying he wants a Mortal Kombat version with Nintendo characters. Damn it!
Oh fuck!
Isn't that Smash? But
that's Smash Brothers
without that.
Yeah, without the fatalities, and I don't want to see Mario ripping off somebody's head. I'm sorry. Because it's going to happen next. They're going to do that, and then they're going to make a movie with the Mortal Kombat storyline with the Nintendo characters. I'm like, no, I don't think we need to see a love storyline between Samus and Link.
Oh, bruh.
I mean, who would be the rated in that situation? Who would be the mentor? It wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense in that regard. No, Blood and Guts. There's gonna be no Blood and Guts. You want to see Blood and Guts? Go watch that clay animation wrestling show. I forgot what it was called.
Celebrity Deathmatch.
Celebrity Deathmatch. Yeah, that's what it was. We're not getting that. Yeah, you want to go watch that. So some other games that they announced. They're bringing back one of the Prince of Persia games. I could care less about it. Yes, and it's Horizon Chase 2, Super Crazy Rhythm Castle, Spy and Anya, Operation Memories, which I think were on other consoles before, and now they're just putting them on here. And we got an update, and I'm excited about this. We got an update on what's going to be in the Super Mario RPG remaster. So there's going to be new elements to it. Apparently, if you hit a character... if you hit an enemy, it actually ricochets over to other enemies, and they take damage alongside the one that you attack. And then there's the Sonic Heroes of Team Attack, which I'm like, oh my god. So now I'm gonna see it, and they have different combinations for each pair that you do, the 3 characters that you have fighting. There's different animations with it. I'm like, oh my god, we're getting Sonic Heroes with Mario RPG, except there are only 5 characters on the whole team. So I'm like,
and none of them are Big the Cat.
And none of them are Big the Cat. Mario, we gotta find Froggy and the 7 stars. Come on, let's go.
Oh, Christ on a stick.
Don't worry, I can take care of all of Smithy's minions by using my fishing pole. All I gotta do is just swirl it around like I did in Sonic Heroes, and it will just like spurt fire everywhere. And then Mallow's like, "This is my castle." It's like, "Oh, sorry, Mallow." And we did get, and there's actually going to be some animated cutscenes in there, which I'm excited about. And including Birdo. Birdo has returned as one of the bosses. I know what will be in the Mario RPG: pronouns. I mean, yes, because Birdo is trans, right? So she's actually I can't remember. Mario RPG doesn't do chapters, but and they just go based on the current events. But yeah, Birdo shows up later in the game, hatching from an egg, and then tries to attack you the same way she attacks you in Mario Brothers 2 with eggs. I wonder if they're gonna, because I wonder if this one, if they're just gonna bring. I know they're bringing back some of the old fighting mechanics and some of the old fighting moves, but I wonder if they're gonna add any more to it. But anyway. I'm excited for it. I already know what to expect because I played Mario RPG so many times because it's my favorite game. But now we're going to see it remastered in November. So they just gave a little update on that, which I was happy with. They also showed more on the new Princess Peach game, which is looking really good from what I've seen. It's the one thing I didn't like about Super Princess Peach was that it was too much like a Mario game. I think I felt like Princess Peach needed her own identity in terms of what style of game she has. And for this one, it seems like they're actually going to give her an identity. It's going to be more theater based, which I really like. Are they still
going to go with the women emotion thing, or?
No, there's no women emotion. Apparently what they do is they have Peach she plays different style of characters. So in one instance, she's a sword fighter. In another instance, she's a detective. In one instance, she's a baker. In one instance, she's something else too. But she has like 5 different forms that she goes through, depending on the situation. I like that. Oh yeah, she's also a kung fu fighter.
Reminds me of this old magical girl anime, the original magical girl anime, Minky Momo, where her power was that she could transform into different professions.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, it's kind of along the same elements of that. And by the way, she looks really good in the costumes they gave her. Like they really went all out with her designs. And the way that like the game is set up, it's not like your typical side scroller platformer like you would see in the Mario games. It's really more of a interactive theater show. Which I mean, which is great in terms of like how they style it and everything, because I think the whole game is going to play out like it's a Shakespeare play.
Oh, hang up!
But not necessarily without the Shakespeare.
I think I saw the other one. One of the other ones that she has is supposed to look like she's a martial artist.
Yes, yeah, that's the other one that I forgot to mention. Martial artist. Hold on, I'm going to try to pull up pictures so that people can get an idea of some of the things that she's going to be being. So I'm trying to find an article that has all of them in it because I don't want to show the video because I don't know if Nintendo's gonna be like, it's like, oh, you can't show this.
Pretty sure they'll jump us with show.
If it's like a still image and we're just, giving a critique, it should be fine.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm trying to find stuff people already doing fan art of it. So I'll do this little.
If you show fan art, we have to link the artist in.
I'm not doing the fan art. I was just saying I'm just saying people are already doing fan art of it. Okay, here's the closest thing I can show. Oh God, it's a YouTube thumbnail. I don't want the YouTube thumbnail. All right, you know what? I'm just gonna show this right here. It's not it's not a video, so it's just what I'm seeing on Google Images. So right here, that's the Baker image. That's the detective. Basically, looks a lot like Herlock Sholmes from Ace Attorney. That's the sword fighter. So she looks very much like a Spanish sword fighter because she's got like the little hat with the rose and everything. And then there's her as the martial artist.
Nice.
Yeah, so she looks. Yeah, that game looks really, really good. And
I
it
love how
comes
they
out
put
next year.
a lot of thought into that, and just I really hope that they had a lot of fun while working on it too, because that looks like would have been fun to do designs for.
Yeah, because I mean they put a lot in because you when you walk at the trailer, they put a lot of effort into making it look like a theater show. Like literally, it's like it's Peaches walking on stage, going through different scenes of a play of some kind, which I know with Japanese theater, it's a lot different than American theater. The way that they do their set designs is very, very different, which I've always appreciated. And I wish that American theaters would kind of do more of that style, but they don't really do that because they like to go for a more musical theme, which is where with Japanese theater, they go very into the set designs and they go into intricate detail about items floating around or how characters dress. And it always looks so cool to see. And the fight, and I think like the main villain is like shrouded in mystery. It has like one of those Mardi Gras masks. Definitely looks like a Mardi Gras character. So there's definitely going to be some party element to it, or at least a festivities type of deal with it. And I don't know necessarily what the plot is because they didn't really go over the plot. They just went over like how everything is going to go forward with it. But if it turns out that the Mushroom Kingdom is in peril, or something to do with like, oh, I'm going to transform this entire kingdom into my theater show, then that will be that. I don't know. I'm just telling things off the top of my head, but
Just spitballing some theories.
Yes, not game theories, because I'm not like those guys that just come up with bad theories for no reason.
Oh, and sometimes I take the theories from Reddit, so there's that.
Yeah, they'll do anything for content. It's all about the money for them. But if this game is successful, I could see them doing more Princess Peach games like this because, listen, I mean, Luigi's got the whole horror genre going for him. Wario's got the whole micro game thing going for him. Yoshi's got his based on crafts because, like, we had the wool, and then we had before that we had the storybook on the N64. And then Donkey Kong obviously has his whole style platformer. So, like, if you're going to make a Peach game, you got to differentiate it from everybody else, everybody characters-wise. And even it looks good, and I think it's going to do well. I don't think there's going to be many people complaining about it unless it's really, really bad. But Waluigi didn't even have a game.
Oh, he technically, not like a console game, but like a Flash game.
Yeah, that doesn't really. Yeah. I mean, Waluigi Pinball is probably the closest we're ever going to get to a Waluigi game.
Yeah.
Please tell me you didn't know that this was lost media.
What?
I mean, I knew about the lost media with Waluigi, but I was just like, I knew about it. I don't really count it though.
Well, I mean, not counting like the like the Dance Dance Revolution Mario edition.
Well, I mean, I knew he was. I mean, he's not even really the main villain in that. He's the one that just orchestrates everything, and then after the first act is over, then he's gone. Because what happens? Like because Waluigi is like the one that's like, I'm gonna take all the music notes and fling them all over the place, and then Mario's like, what are you doing? What flinging all the notes? Let's dance. All right, let's dance. And then after they dance and Mario wins, you never see him again for the rest of the game, because then you got to go to the carnival and fight Wario, and then you got to go all the way to Bowser's castle and beat him as the final boss. So it's not. They really did him dirty in Mario Mix. Although I will say the music in that is really, really good. I still go back and listen to the songs on that. But Waluigi, it's going to be tough for him to get his own game because he's just a cult classic character. He's not as profitable as many people would like to think, unless of course he gets his own sports game, because it was like Waluigi football. Like if they did that, then I would not have a problem, because he actually would look like somebody that would be a quarterback in the NFL, because he's got the height to do it. So I could just see him like with the football outfit on, going, "I'm gonna throw a Hail Mary all the way across to the end zone and get the Goomba to catch it." And all of a sudden, you'll be hearing John Madden up in the booth screaming, "Touchdown! Touchdown!" And then finally, the Madden series will get some notoriety because Waluigi's in it. So that's the Princess Peach game. And I would recommend everybody check out the fan art that a lot of people have been making, because it is really good.
Just watch where you step, because there's probably Rule 34 for it already.
Yeah, of course there is. Yeah, you should say that about everything that exists.
Oh, I know. Just noticed that whenever a new design or a new female character is revealed, it's always within 5 minutes you have that down.
Jazzy saying, I think people took the Waluigi for Smash thing too far. I still don't know if people are serious or just memeing. At this point, it's just memeing, because Smash is over with and done with. They got all the characters. They're finally getting the last Sora amiibo out of it. Like, it's done. If they ever decide to do a Smash 6, just do it for the sake of shits and giggles. I mean, because if they're going to put Piranha Plant in there, you might as well just go all bore with it. It's like, okay, finally we put it in. Are you happy now? And
you know that joke that joke where people do like the sequel and like the numbers in the title?
Yeah.
They better do that. I had to type it out.
Super Smash Ultimate. Mate.
Get it?
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
God damn it! Don't even remind me, because I actually rekindled me finding those Street Fighter themed sex pills.
What?
Wait, what? Street Fighter sex pills? What are you talking about?
Oh, I'm surprised nobody has heard about these.
No, you're talking to an ace. Do you think I know anything about this shit?
No, but just a little something to have brought up. I saw it. There actually are male enhancement pills.
Okay, first of all, you don't even have to go any further. Those things don't work. It is that they are false advertising. Anything that says male enhancement, it is not true. You're stuck with what you have, unless you do reconstructive surgery, which I wouldn't recommend.
There's even a WTF of the even Reddit had it as in the r/WTF. So
Jazzy saying it's the same thing with movies, just go back to numbers. Yeah, we're going into angry video game nerd territory with this. Like, games don't really have like numbers anymore with it. It's always like the title of the game, and then it's just like the title or the gimmick of the game. Like the Paper Mario series never had numbers. You always know it as Paper Mario, then Thousand Year Door, then Super Paper Mario, and then the game that Sylph will never speak of again. And then I don't
speak of any of the ones after the Wii.
You gotta give Origami King a chance. I play that every single year. It has become a tradition of me. Like around my birthday, I'll always play Paper Mario Origami King. I actually consider it one of my favorite games now. Like, I can't believe I play a Paper Mario game, and it's like, man, after Thousand Year Door, because I'm not really a huge fan of Super Paper Mario, but like after playing Origami King a few times, I'm like, this game is actually challenging. And every single time I play it, there's always something new I'm learning about it that I either forget or that I'm just discovering about it. Like every time I get to the end of Origami King, I cry. Like literally I cry. Because the ending is just so it's just so emotional. Which I never thought I would say for a Paper Mario game, but it's like one of the few that do it. Well, speaking of Luigi's Mansion, we can get to that. So they made the announcement that Luigi's Mansion 2, I mean, they made that in the past, but it's going to be Luigi's Mansion 2 from the 3DS is coming to the Switch. So it was funny because I was watching the first Luigi's Mansion gameplay last night, but yeah, they're going to finally put it on the Switch because what was it, last year they came out with 3? And I haven't played 3 yet, but I'm planning on playing it towards Halloween. Yeah, they went back to 2 instead of Dark Moon because it was called Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, but then they just went back to calling it 2. Jazzy, with Street Fighter 2, though, they had so many different versions of Street Fighter 2. And even with 3, they had different versions of it. Although Mega Man, though, classic Mega Man, yes. Yeah, I've heard 3 is better than 2. And I don't think they're ever going to give the first game any love. I don't think they're ever going to remaster it or anything because, I don't know, there's just something about the first Luigi's Mansion game where I think it was considered too scary, especially at that time. And I know definitely for like when 2 and 3 came out, they definitely toned down the scariness and they made it more gimmicky. Which I mean, you got to find a niche for it. But yeah, I think the first one was considered too scary for kids. There was even an option like where you could turn down the light setting on your TV so that you got a more like horror aesthetic to it. And I think there were people that are like, nope, too traumatizing. Yes, because with like 2 and 3, it's not even really that scary because the ghosts are not even that horrifying. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I mean, obviously, because they put it on the Switch. Oh, speaking of which, they came out with the new concepts for the sixth wave of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So Funky Diddy, Peachette, and one other character. Oh yeah, Pauline. They're all going to be characters in Mario Kart 8 now. So I'm like, yes, finally I could play as Funky Kong. Because Funky was always the character I went to in Mario Kart Wii. And, of course, they're obviously going to release new courses for it, including some from the Wii, I believe. And I want to see more N64 ones because that's my... Yeah, they've been doing really good with the DLC. It kind of makes me wish they did Mario Kart 9 instead, but... I mean, if they're putting out this much content for Mario Kart 8, I know the real reason why they're doing it because Mario Kart 8 is the most popular selling Switch game of all time. Like, there are so many people that are just buying Mario Kart 8 because 8 was just so damn good. Like, the concept of the game and the way that everything was structured and organized and the way that, you know, the races and the tracks were done. I mean, it was I wouldn't say groundbreaking, but it's just so good. It beats anything that Wii or Double Dash and any of the handhelds did. I mean, they really did a good job with it. And so I can't really complain. How can you improve on perfection? Well, you make 9 and then you improve upon it by going even further with it. Like bring in some more stuff. I mean, because they're eventually going to have to do it. Especially if they want to try to get people to buy Switch 2 or whatever they're going to start to call it. Let's see what else. I mean, Detective Pikachu, the sequel. Oh, that's another one that's not getting a 2 next to it. Detective Pikachu 2, technically. But we already found out about it from the last one, so there's not really much. It's just some updates on the storyline. Like you get to Pikachu can ride a Growlithe and like a Luxray, and each of the Pokemon that Pikachu rides on the back of, they have different gimmicks on how you can try to find clues. So, ooh.
So a little bit of what they did with what the fuck you call it? Sun and Moon, where you had to ride Pokemon.
Yes.
Except detective instead of travel.
Yes. Yep. And it's like, Growlithe, I need you to sniff out clues for me. Or Luxray, I need you to use your X-ray vision to look through a room.
Let's see. I think didn't I also you have that gimmick with X and Y too?
They didn't really have that for X and Y unless you were flying.
I know.
Listen, they're gonna remake 5th Gen one of these days.
Oh, I dread that because want it to be like I'm hoping it's like they actually do it justice, because that's.
Well, I mean, right now they're going through the DLC for Scarlet and Violet. The first one got released, and I have not played it yet. But I mean, I've beaten Scarlet and Violet multiple times, but I have not played the DLC yet. So I'll have to see what that brings to the table, because I'm already like, I think my main team is already maxed out, like level wise. So I'm like, okay, time to see what else I can explore, because I still think Gen 9 is the best gen, because they've already gone through the updates and everything. So it's like, ooh,
well,
yeah, it's just like the overall exploration for it was just really, really fun.
sadly, my latest Pokemon game was actually Sun and Moon, the OG version.
And they'll remake that one of these days in the future.
And here I'm just sitting here with having two Lunalas when I tried to evolve one into becoming a Soul.
Oh, Jazzy's reminding us. Now, you had the bike in Gen 6 in Omega Red Alpha Sapphire, which I was not really a fan of. You had bikes, and then you had the Mega Latios Latias. He said Latinas. I was like, wait a minute, what? You got that in Gen 9, but not in Gen 3. It's like, oh, that would be interesting if there was like a town where there was like a there was a if there was a Mexican restaurant that played music. Oh, that would have been so cool. Because I mean, hey, you got Ludicolo in there, so I mean, it makes perfect sense.
One thing I kind of hate that they did with the Gen 3 remakes is that where they're supposed to be the battle tower, they purposely made it so it wasn't there, and like, oh, construction's happening.
Yeah,
that's bullshit.
You know what I really wish that they would remake? Pokemon Coliseum and XD. Because those, if you want to talk about Pokemon games that really deserve remakes, it's the one with the fucking Shadow Pokemon storyline. Because those are some.
Hear the oh no, what the fuck was the guy's name? The guy who did a lot of work for Sword and Shield was the one who made Shadow Lugia storyline.
Yeah, and Shadow Lugia looked fucking awesome. Like when I saw the trailer for that, I said, "Oh my god, they actually perfected the whole Shadow Pokemon deal." Because Shadow Lugia was like fucking brutal. It was like, because that thing could, I mean, the Shadow Lugia as a concept, I mean, you harden a Pokemon's heart to the point where it's just a killing machine. I mean, you want to talk about the concept of terrorists actually using Pokemon as a means to destroy people. I mean, you never see that in any of the mainstream games, but Coliseum and XD like went fucking far with that. Like even so far as to have like somebody from the terrorist organization like turn the tides and say, nope, I'm done joining this organization. I'm infiltrating it and I'm stealing the technology so that I can take back all the shadow Pokemon. I mean that the whole concept of it was great. It was cool. And yet wait a minute, they have shadow Pokemon in Pokemon Go?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
I did not know that.
You have to be Team Rocket to get one.
What? That makes no sense because Team Rocket didn't even have shadow Pokemon. It was Team Cypher. Like if you're gonna do a concept with shadow Pokemon, actually use the actual team that used them.
Oh, but did you know you got to use the Gen 1 nostalgia?
Of course they do. I mean, I get it that Giovanni would have actually. I would not be surprised if Giovanni was one of the godfathers of going with the whole shadow Pokemon idea, and then somebody else just stole it from him. Like,
or
it would
he
make
funded
sense.
it,
or he funded it. And plus, the whole Aura region is based off of Arizona. Like, I mean, like the people over at the Pokemon Company said, you know what state we should really base a Pokemon region off of? Fucking Arizona. Why the fuck not? Because there's nothing really that happens in Arizona. It's basically just desert. And it's like, yeah, you know what? Let's just get an oasis city and let's get get a town that is so run down that everything is underground. I was like, that whole concept of it. Yeah, but my point is, remaster those, because you know who really needs to be brought back and be respected again? Mirror B. The guy has a fucking Pokeball afro, and he's got some of the best battle theme music ever. I mean, the first game, he's dancing to Latin music with his Ludicolo. And the second game, he's got a whole Michael Jackson vibe. And it is like he's like one of the most underappreciated Pokemon characters in the entire franchise. Like that person just needs to come back, because that's like one of the great things about that's like those two games was him. He really made that series. Yes, the Disco Sonic XD slaps so hard. You're right, Jazz. He just absolutely killed it. There's even a remix where they took an Ariana Grande song and they mixed the Disco Mirror B music with it. And I'm like, holy shit, I never thought I would actually like an Ariana Grande song, but combined with this Pokemon with these Pokemon beats, it's actually really good. And then you find out Ariana Grande's a Pokemon fan, so I'm like, oh, if she listened to that, would she put it in her music? That would be kick-ass. But anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent, but yeah, those are the games that deserve to be remade, in my opinion. And there's always been the rumor too that the old guy from one of the towns is actually Ash or Red, whatever you want to call him, as an old man, because he just has an army of Pikachus. Anyway, getting back to the Nintendo Direct. So they announced a Nintendo Museum, which I'm surprised the concept has never been thought of before, or if they have thought about it, I'm surprised it wasn't made earlier. But yeah, it's going to be based in Japan. I think nearby Nintendo headquarters, not necessarily close to it, but somewhere nearby. But hey, once that thing is constructed, if they ever decide to open one up in America, that would be very fun to see. Maybe if they opened one up in Seattle, that would be a place to go. Because Seattle's already a great city to go to, from what my friend tells me. But I mean, to see Nintendo of America and then to have the Nintendo Museum right there, I mean, for Americans it would be cool. But if you
pretty cool,
yeah.
Though I think at best we could hope for maybe would be if they did like sometimes museums do like tours where it's like, oh hey, we're gonna be in this city for this amount of time, and
yes.
I think that's the best we could probably hope for.
I would hope that would be the case, because if they had a Nintendo exhibit in Orlando, I would take the train all the way there just to go see it. Because I already know Nintendo World's going to open up in a few years, which, by the way, we got to talk about, Sylph. But yeah, if that's the case, then I would definitely go on tour to see it. Even if it comes down to all the way to Miami, I would go, because I would not miss that for the world. But yeah, so that's gonna be cool. I already know they're probably gonna do
Baby boy, no,
different styles, but we'll see. Let's see. They introduced Among Us is gonna be on the Switch.
I thought it was already on the Switch.
Nope.
What?
Yeah, they had a trailer for Among Us for the Direct.
Wait a minute. Hold on, I swear I have this on my Switch.
Because if it was on the Switch, or maybe it's something that involves Among Us that I don't know about, if it's like extra DLC or something. But I mean, I saw it.
It's on my Switch. It's on my Switch.
Okay, hold
Probably
on. Let me look at the trailer real quick. Okay, so it looks like it's something.
I hear they're doing a collab with someone. But I'm not sure how long that will last, given the news of what's going on with its Unity.
Yeah, because they just released the trailer for Among Us on the thing, and I even just looked at the trailer for it, so maybe they were re-releasing it again. Oh yeah, and they're also coming out with another WarioWare game, which I mean I'm all for. Although that's not really a series that I like so much, because it's
a little too fast pacer.
Yeah, it's like very fast paced. I grew up with Mario Party with mini games, and the WarioWare is like micro games. I mean, I know my friend likes to play it, and anytime I go over his house or he comes over to my house, we'll play like WarioWare and stuff. But it's like you have to play it with friends. You can't play it by yourself a lot of times because it's just like you're missing out on some fun. No, Jazzy's saying it came out on the Switch in 2020. Well, then why did? Okay, then I'm confused by why they decided to re-release it again. Because it's not really because it's not Among Us 2. It just showed a trailer. Maybe they're just introducing more stuff to it, but they
New
don't.
map. They're getting a new map.
Okay, then they should have just said it's a new map, but they make it seem like it was the entire game that was going to be released. They didn't say DLC or they didn't say update. It was like, no, it's coming October 2023. I'm like, okay.
Hold on, I'm gonna look at this trailer.
Okay, so if it's just more maps, then that's fine. Because Lord knows I don't want to be on the USS Enterprise all the time.
All right, so far the trailer is showing them flying over the new map.
Yeah, it's like a beach of some kind.
Welcome to the fungus jungle.
We got fun and games.
Yeah, this is just showing the new map, and just they did like a, how in the Smash intros the Smash announcement they do like intro and then show the character.
Yeah,
kind of like that, but a map reveal.
Okay. Some other things they announced: the original Tomb Raider trilogy is going to be remastered for the Switch, which I know is going to make George Wood very happy. But I think
is he still around?
He's still alive. I don't think he does any content anymore. But I know, for those of you that don't know, George Wood was infamous for saying that he wanted a storyline in Tomb Raider 3 where Lara Croft gets breast cancer, because he thought it would up the ante for storylines. And then, of course, it became, I think, one of the very first memes online. And because of that, now with the, that's the whole joke that's going around now. It's like, oh, now that it's getting remastered, George Wood can finally get what he wants. And then we're like, no, he's not.
I mean, he's known for more than just that. He's known for going on really weird rants about games with his reviews.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, he's the guy who said that Mario Kart is fun to play except when you're losing. He's also the guy
who's fair, a lot of games aren't fun if you lose it.
I know, but it's like but to say that's like but to go to put a review of a game and say like it's only fun if you're winning, but it's Mario Kart of all things. Like, what was it? There was like a Formula 1 game he was reviewing, and he was like, listen, why don't you just invent a game where you have to drive your pregnant wife to the hospital and you have to obey all the stop signs and the speed limits?
What the Cinnamon Toast shit has happened?
I mean, there's already an arcade ambulance game where you're driving an ambulance and you have to take a pregnant woman to a hospital, and as you're driving, like an ambulance all of a sudden just flies off the road into the ocean. And my friend, I can't remember the name of the game, but it was in a movie theater arcade that I used to go to with my friends. I remember sitting down playing it, and I believe Alex like videotaped it, and it's me driving, and my friends are watching the cut scene before you start playing the game, and the ambulance actually runs over a car or something, and then it's like, well, since I ran over the car, I might as well take the people that are inside all the way to the hospital. So, and then oh god, the turning in that game was so bad. And then there's like other ambulances all over the road, and then one just flies off the road and like off the highway and just goes right into the ocean. And my friend was like, "Oh my god, that driver's worse than you."
Wow, that's insult to injury.
Well, no, because the turning in that is bad. Like every time I had to turn, my friend was like, "Turn now." I was like, "Okay, I'm turning." He was my turn signal.
Wait a minute, emergency call ambulance?
I think maybe I'd have to look at the footage to see, because I remember the video footage.
I think they found it.
It's like,
All right, hold.
Does it have a square where it shows the patient?
Yes.
Oh, it's like a wonton, and it's like wonton.
Yes, this is the game. This is the game. This is the game. Oh my god, I can't believe you found this. I'm gonna have to show my friends later.
I'm gonna link this in the chat. Here you go.
It is so bad. It's like one of the worst games I ever played in a movie theater. And I believe there was actually a point where there were other people that were in the arcade that were just crowding around us because we were just making fun of the game so much. But anyway, all of this for talking about George Wood and his obsession with Tomb Raider. Anyway, I'm trying to see what other stuff that looked interesting came out. Not really much, besides the Nintendo stuff. Okay, and then finally, the main event. We can finally get to the main event. So, at the end of the Direct, they announced that they're going to remaster Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. Which that was already a rumor that was going about. Some had said it was going to be the first game, which I said, no, it can't be the first game because they already have Paper Mario on N64 Virtual Console on the Switch. I mean, if they're going to have that, that's already a guarantee they're not going to remaster it. So when they announced Thousand Year Door, I was like, oh my God, that's so... And I just love the lighting in it. The lighting looks so much better than the GameCube version. Like, it actually feels like you're in different environments. Like, you're in a darker area, you're in a lighter area. Because I always thought, the one complaint I always had about the Thousand Year Door was the lighting. And this is how everything just looked the same. Or not looked the same, but everything was just bright. And I'm like, no, it can't be bright in a fighting locker room in Chapter 3. It's got to be dark. And then sure enough, in the remaster, it's actually a dark locker room because it's supposed to be very bad conditions. And I like the way that Hooktail's castle looks with like the sun shining through it. Like, it just looked a lot cleaner. And I mean, and the music is okay, but I mean, obviously, this is it's been 4 years since the last Paper Mario game came out, so it's kind of like a tradition. Like, a new Paper Mario game comes out every 4 years, so I guess this is technically on the same path. This is the first.
Absolutely gorgeous.
It does. It looks beautiful. It looks absolutely beautiful.
Anyone else worried about how they're going to handle? Oh gosh, they gotta address this. The whole thing with Vivian.
I'm kind of interested to see where they go with it. I'm not gonna have my hopes up for it though, because I think they're just gonna stick with the original dialogue, unless of course they start changing it up. But then again, once the game comes out next year, I think there's gonna be some trans content creators or social media accounts that will pick out the differences, and maybe there will be a few changes or not. I mean, it's been a long time since I played the GameCube version, so it doesn't come off the top of my head, but we shall see what they do with it.
I know that in the English one, it was like, oh, you're ugly, you're an ugly sister, but in like the Japanese version, it was pretty transphobic, to be honest. It was like even Goombella was getting in on this. It was like, oh, she's a boy who thinks she's a girl, or no. Just pretend I was stupid and used the wrong pronouns for that.
Yeah. But I don't think that they would go with the original translation with that, thankfully.
I mean, I could understand with like maybe the sisters, because they're supposed to be the antagonist.
Yeah,
the villain. Not Goombella's stuff.
Yeah. I think with the sisters it would make sense, but I think even then, sometimes I think with some villains, that when it comes to video games, like, you don't want to go too far with it, because then they might because there are some fans that they just love to emulate the villains to the point where they're just like, oh, we'll emulate exactly what they think.
Oh man, those people are idiots. It's like, dude, have you played the game? They're shown to be wrong. They're literally like nobody likes them. They had their ass kicked. You really want to go
numerous
there?
times.
Mm.
In fact, one of the sisters betrayed them, and then they had to go with the main boss in chapter 4 because they're and I mean, I will say this. The compared to the first game, the second game, Thousand Year Door, and this is why I think this has gotten remastered and the first one didn't. Besides the fact that it was already on Virtual Console, but it's just that the second game perfected the style of the RPG different than the first game, because sometimes with the action commands it was very stiff with the A button on the first game, and a lot of the characters had no personality whatsoever. They were just it was mostly just gimmicks, and their gimmick only were good for like the one chapter, and then you could just use Watt for the rest of the game. Once you had Watt, like you could practically just beat every boss with Watt. It's almost like the same thing with this one, because you can just use Vivian in order to beat every single boss after you get her. But at least with the partners that you get, they all have personalities. I mean, Gubella's a university student that just wants to research things. Koops is the shy Koopa that's like, I gotta rescue my dad because he was eaten by a dragon. And then his girlfriend's like, no, go. You're gonna get eaten too. And he's like, no, I'm gonna go do it. It's like, fine, leave me here. And then just tackles him and Mario. It's like, I'm sorry, I'll be back. And then you have Madame Flurry, who's a former actress who has settled off in a distant land, but she's a wind spirit, and she's basically just Watt. And then you have, she's got that whole like, oh, I'm a former actress, and I bring joy to everybody. And then you have the baby Yoshi, which you can name it however which way you want to. And depending
Fun fact
on
about that, how long you wait in the game changes the color.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And basically it's just like the fighter. It's like, yeah, I'll fight anybody. Let's go. Come on, motherfuckers.
Yoshi Kid. And then Vivian, of course, who up until that point had been one of the antagonists.
Yes, you actually fought Vivian. You actually fought Vivian in chapter 2. But then after you become the shadow figure, she is she's very helpful to you, because she's like, oh, hey, you're trying to find this grenade that's in the bushes. And it's like, oh, don't feel so bad. It's a dud. She's like, oh, you're so sweet. And then she kisses him. And then at that point, when she finds out it's Mario, she's like, you know what? I don't give a fuck. I'm going to join him because he was kind to me.
Oh, at first she was like, wait, no, I can't do this. I'm sorry. And then she came back.
Yeah, like during the boss fight with Dupless.
Went through the whole 5 stages of grief thing.
Yeah. I mean, but hey, Mario was the only one that was nice to her. So it's like, you know what? I'm just going to join them because, Mario's kind. And then, oh, God, Admiral Bobbery is just so tragic.
His story is interesting.
Yeah, he couldn't even enjoy his life, and he couldn't even enjoy his life after his wife passed. And it's like, I'm never going out to sea again. And then he finally gets a letter from his wife. He's like, please go back to the ocean, because I know that was the other thing you loved besides me. And I was like,
fun fact, his wife was named Scarlet, and
yeah.
And instead of using a bottle of cola, I think he asked for wine, which was also called Scarlet.
Yes, Scarlet wine, red wine. And he's like, and he thought he was gonna die, but really he just fell asleep. And he's like, okay, old man, come on, wake up. You're gonna join us. He's like, And actually, if you think about it, Bobbery is actually pretty good when it comes to battling, because his abilities are really strong.
He had an early design where he was a soldier instead of a sailor.
Yeah, I much prefer him as a sailor, though. Because how many times are you going to get a bomb that's like, it's like, oh, I used to be a pirate. Or not really a pirate. I used to sail everywhere. And because I enjoyed the ocean so much. It was my first love. Yeah,
it's a lot more interesting, too. Like, just the wheel, the hat with the patch on it.
Yeah.
And the glorious mustache.
And considering they already had Bomb's soldiers in Chapter 7 who were all Russian, which I don't know how they're going to deal with that now. I wonder if they're gonna change. I
Oh.
wonder if they're gonna change it to Ukrainian or something.
There's also a partner we forgot to mention, Miss Mouse. She's the
Yes, I was gonna about talk about Miss
Oh.
Mouse next. She's an optional partner, actually, not a main character in any sense, but you do see her in some of the chapters because Miss Mouse, when she doesn't wear the mask that she has, she sells badges in Rogueport. And that's where she gets all the badges that you see in the badge store. She's going to different places, stealing all the badges. And eventually there's a badge that she's trying to find in Hooktail's castle. And I think you can get this after chapter 5. But after you get that, you're able to say, hey, I did this for you. And Miss Mouse is like, you know what? I'll just join you. And practically her ability is just sniffing out hidden items. But she could be pretty good. She could be pretty good in the battlefield because she's like practically Lady Bow in a sense.
And then we had some temporary companions, Flavio and the professor.
Oh God, Flavio.
There's a weird glitch where you can have it so that Flavio stays by your side, but you have to do like a lot of weird skipping.
Yeah, it's the same thing with the professor as well in the early chapters. I've seen some speed runs where that's like, wait a minute, why is the professor still following us? Well, because of this glitch. You know, and it's like, and every time the professor came on screen, the audience would cheer, "Yeah, professor!
All right, professor,
better than Oak." Anyway, and it's just the chapters were a lot more appealing than in the first game because I mean, the first chapter you're going up against the giant dragon. I mean, how many times can you say that in a Mario game? Like, ooh, we're going up against an entire dragon whose weakness is hearing crickets. Because she ate crickets one time and she was like, oh, it gave me stomach pain. Every time I hear a cricket, I get weak. And then and all of a sudden, like, you just end up killing her. And then
that's kind of fucked up now that you think about it. Just, oh hey, we're using someone's sensory problems
against them.
But think about this. Hooktail like ate a bunch of Koopas and killed them.
Right.
So, I mean, which is more devastating if we're gonna really measure that? And thankfully, Coop's dad lived through the whole thing. But yeah, like Hooktail was just going around eating Koopas because it's like, I'm Hooktail. I can do whatever the fuck I want. It's like, okay, you got a crystal star also. So we gotta take care of this. We gotta slay the dragon.
What was it? Can't let a dragon girl pass.
No. Not even her big brother can save him. And not even their old grandpa in the pit of 100 trials could do anything.
God damn it, Grandpa needs retirement.
It was like, I was called Bonetail for a reason. Bonetail is ready. Anyway, what was it? The second chapter is the one where the Punies, which are these little puny creatures.
Like Pikmin, but horizontal.
Yeah. But so there's a giant tree and it's got a crystal star in it, but the X-Nox took it over. The X-Nox are the main villains in this game. And all because Grotus is like, yeah, I'm going to do this to rule the world. But his assistant, Lord Crump, who is really just Dr. Eggman, because he looks exactly like him. Like, yeah, he's running the whole operation in the tree, and he just has this mechanical machine that it looks exactly like something Eggman would create. So I'm just thinking, is Lord Crump literally just an influence or not? Was influenced by Dr. Eggman?
You know what? Let's just go by the what the hell's the name of the cartoon that did the crossover with Sonic? OKKO. Just go by their logic, where they went to the same college.
Okay. Lord Crump and Egg. Oh god, now I'm picturing Lord Crump and Eggman in the same class. Like, I'm gonna be the valedictorian. No, I am.
Oh.
I know. Chapter 3 is one of my favorite chapters because you get to become a wrestler. Like you're literally going up against a world champion because they got the crystal star around their. Well, it's a fake one, but at first you're like, oh my God, the crystal star is actually the world championship belt. So it's like, oh my God, we're going to become a wrestler just to get the belt. Oh my God. It's like we're literally, and then what was it? The Bubba character. He was like, oh, Mario, that's too bland of a name. You know, we're going to call you the Great Gonzalez, which, by the way, is already a wrestler's name from the 80s. They just didn't call him, they called him the Great Gonzalez, but then they called him something else much later. So it's like, oh my God, we literally just took a wrestler's name from the 80s and gave it to Mario. Okay.
Is he like still around or like alive?
No, he's long gone. The guy was like 7 foot. The guy was like 7 feet tall, I remember. And I don't think he would have cared anyway.
I was gonna say, like, would have been like, would he have found it like badass, like how there was a Pokemon that was inspired by Kiss.
Yeah, exactly.
And they were like, oh hell yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine if Kiss were doing concerts right now, they would get like Oscagoon, right, or however you pronounce that Pokemon's name, and they would just have somebody dressed up in the costume out there with them in London or something. That would have been cool.
Well, this is gonna be sad. Oh,
but what was it? Rock Hawk is actually inspired by The Rock. I mean that's no joke. I mean, he's actually inspired by him. So, I mean...
Wasn't there, like, Hulk Hogan inspiration in there?
Of course, because of the muscles as well. I mean, like, Rock Hawk is supposed to be a representation of, like, 80s wrestling. Because, you know, it's like he's got the world championship belt. He speaks like a wrestler. He does promos like a wrestler. And it's like, get ready to rock! Like, that's his catchphrase. Wait. And then you find out that Rock Hawk was not the main villain in Chapter 3. It was actually the manager the whole time who was using the Crystal Star to bulk himself up and steal energy from other people so that he can stop aging. That's the only reason why he had the Crystal Star to begin with. And then, what was it? And also his assistant. I forgot her name. But,
Jolene.
Jolene. Oh, Jolene.
Hold on. Fun fact. In Spain, or in the Spanish language, Rock Hawk is actually called Hawk Hogan.
Okay, makes sense. And yes, because Rock Hawk also has the infamous Hulk Hogan sunglasses from the 90s. Because most people don't know, when Hulk Hogan in the 90s, one of the biggest things that happened was that, I mean, Hulk Hogan was like, before everyone found out he was a racist piece of shit. In the 80s, he was considered like the all-American classic superhero guy. But then in the 90s, he like turned his back on everybody and betrayed everybody, like Tommy Wiseau, thinking that Mark betrayed him. Like, no, literally, people were throwing garbage at him in the ring when he became a villain. It happened in Daytona Beach, Florida, actually. I remember this specifically because I was about, what was that? I think it was like 6 years old when this happened. And it was on a pay-per-view too. Like, he got in the ring and he betrayed his best friend by attacking him. And then people were literally throwing garbage like drinks, pretzels, soda cans. Like, somebody even threw a beer bottle at him.
Damn, that shit expensive. What you doing, bro?
Oh no, people. I mean, somebody.
I know.
Just like people, like literally trying to get into the ring to fight him, and the wrestlers were like, "No, get the fuck out of here, dude.
Get the hell out of here, Kyle."
Yeah. So then all of a sudden, he decided to wear glasses for like the rest of his for the rest of the 90s when he was a villain. So that's where the Rock Hawk got his sunglasses, because everybody thought he was cool. But yeah, like I said, like the manager really turned out to be the main villain, and then his assistant Jolene was trying to investigate the whole thing because like she had lost her brother Mushti, who was the former world champion before Rock Hawk became champion. He got disappeared all of a sudden, and then it turns out that Bubba's just sucked all the energy out of him. And then finally, like the Crystal Star just brought him back to life or something like that, which was really cool. So she got her brother back. And then I think he became world champion again or something like that. Yeah, chapter 4, you go to Twilight Town, not based off the movie, thankfully. But every time like the clock tower struck, somebody randomly in the village would turn into a pig. And it's all because some fucking guy named Dupless just like, yeah, you know what? I'm just going to turn the people into pigs. And then you fight him, and then it turns out he has this ability to transform into you and just not only take your name and identity, but also your friends, and just leave you as a shadowy figure. So then you got to try to get
your former self.
Yeah, and so now you got to get your identity back. Meanwhile, Vivian has been abused by her 2 sisters because they even gaslight her because it's like, oh, you lost the wanted poster for Mario. It's like, no, you had it. Oh, you're not going to talk back to me. And then it's like, oh, well, now you got to go find the bomb that you had. Like, no, you had it. And like, are you talking back to me, Vivian? And it was like all that shit. And like Vivian's crying, just trying to find this grenade. And that's when Mario's like, oh, I'll help you find it. And that's where she joins him. And then finally, when she finds out it's Mario, it's like, I don't want to fight. And then like a few minutes later, it's like, I'm going to fight because he's been nice to me. And by the way, Dupless also took the letter P away when you were trying to spell his name out. That's like, okay, now you got to go all the way to the chateau again. Then you got to try to find this parrot that just had this random letter P in a treasure chest. And apparently he knew the name.
Pretty clever what they did with that. It's like, oh, hey, even if you knew the name, you wouldn't be able to pull that second playthrough.
Yeah, but the bad thing about chapter 4 is there's a lot of it's just like a lot of back and forth. Just a lot of retracing your steps again. It's like, okay, we got to go to the chateau. Now we got to go back to town. Now we got to go back to the chateau. Then we got to go back to the town. It's like, oh my God, I hate going back and forth like this. But then chapter 5 was the oh my God, it was the fucking Lord of the Flies chapter. Because they have to take a pirate ship all the way to the island where there's a crystal star. And I noticed how in like the first 2 Paper Mario games it took place on an island. I was like, geez, how terrifying is that? Yeah, Admiral Bobbery joins you after convincing him of his wife wanted to go back out there. But the fucking pirate ship gets attacked by fire demons. And the whole ship sinks, and now they're marooned on the deserted island. So it's like a season of Survivor, except they don't vote anybody out of the tribe. If they did, they all would have voted out Flavio, because Flavio is just an egotistical fool.
Oh, it's okay. You can say he's an asshole.
Oh, he's also an asshole. Yes. I mean, that asshole had a treasure that ultimately got you inside the cave. Because there's a pirate, there's a pirate spirit named Cortez, and it was like a huge misunderstanding. It's like, no, we don't want your treasure, we just want the crystal star. And he's like, really? Oh, I'm so sorry that I fought with you guys. My bad.
Oh well, shit. Sorry. Here, you can have that ratty old thing.
Here, you can have this thing. I don't want it. And it's like, hey, you guys were so kick-ass. If you ever need any help, and then sure enough, oh yeah, help. I forgot. And then Dr. Eggman and his merry crew of pirates, of ex-nauts, come running in. And then Cortez says, oh, those guys want to have a fucking pirate ship fight? Let's go. Let's go Pirates of the Caribbean on this motherfucker.
Oh, you're forgetting the funnier part that happened before. With the... Man, what the fuck's the girl's name? Francine?
Who? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, so...
Yeah, the weird mafia thing.
They had an Italian stereotype in this game. Not that I'm complaining, but yeah, there's in order to get to Glitzville in chapter 3, you had to talk to the Godfather, which basically it's the pinatas from Mario Sunshine, but they're all mob bosses. And it's like, you got to go find my daughter and Frankie. It's like, of course his name is Frankie.
They had him say "I love you" 100 times.
Literally 100 times. Like, I'm not going anywhere until you say "I love me." It's like, okay, baby, I love you. Nope, you got to say it 99 more times. I love you. 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 And you have to literally hit the A button 100 times. You have to keep hearing him say, I love you.
Rip your thumb after that. Rest in peace, the thumb.
Oh man, the ghosts that they had, the booze with the kitty ears. They originally had bunny ears.
Yes, that too.
Yeah, it's supposed to look like the Playboy bunnies, but
No, yeah, because they have a casino in Rogueport, but you know, I mean, you don't want people to get the wrong idea.
I mean, the cat ears are kind of make it think like it was like a cat cafe or something.
I mean, nowadays, like you see VTubers have cat ears now. But what was it? Oh yeah, there was also this thing where like Dr. Eggman dressed up like a sailor, but like you as the player, you know it's him. But there's some point where he just says, you in front of the TV. You already know who I am, but don't tell Mario about this. And the partner's like, wait a minute, what does that mean, you in front of the TV? They broke the fourth wall numerous times. And then what was it? Cortez helps you fight the X-Nauts on a fucking pirate battle, and it's like X-Nauts versus fire demons. And it's like, it looks so fucking cool. It was really Pirates of the Caribbean style. And then once you fight Dr. Eggman, you get the fifth one. And then I love Chapter 6 because Chapter 6 takes place on a train. And it is literally Murder on the Orient Express. Because there's this detective on there and he accuses you of murder. And it's like, okay, we got to go solve this mystery now. And at some point, the train has to stop like at some deserted place. And then you have to go like, you know, turn the power back on or something. And then there's a fucking boss battle on top of a train.
Hell yeah, fighting on a train.
Yeah, it's like the classic cliche. I mean, they did it in Zorro. They did it on, there was like an episode of the original Yu-Gi-Oh anime where they had a duel on top of a train.
Was this also the one with like the toad that if you read his diary, you die?
Oh yes. The spirit, like that's just like if you read it, you will die, and then it's literally a game over if you read it. Yeah, you have to fight some weird monster on top of the train, and then finally, when you get to the town, you get to the museum, and there's the crystal star right there. I think it's supposed to be based off of like London or something, but I don't know. But Chapter 7, it takes place on the moon, like literally, like the moon. We're going to the moon, but you have to go all the way to Babam, Russia. Because all the Russian the Babam Russian soldiers there have this giant ass cannon that could shoot you up to the moon. And then when you get up there, it's really the X-Naut fortress. And you have to beat Dr. Eggman to get the last crystal star. But meanwhile, while all this is going on, Princess Peach has gotten captured by the X-Nauts because they need her body for something. It's just
you find out that type of something. Get your mind out of the gutter.
Yeah, you find out that she's actually going to be used as a vessel to bring back this 1,000-year-old demon spirit, because that's really what's behind the 1,000-year door, is a demon spirit from 1,000 years ago who destroyed a prosperous city that is now Rogueport. And so they need a vessel of pure heart or something. And it's like, you're not to damage the princess in any way, shape, or form. She must not be harmed, because we need her vessel in order to bring back the Shadow Queen. But meanwhile, there's an artificial intelligence named Tech. And Tech all of a sudden starts getting these feelings for Princess Peach. And Tech is very confused. Like, I'm a computer. Why do I have feelings for human? Like, you need to teach me the concept of love. Like, what are you talking about? Like, are you a computer? Are you not supposed to know what love is? I do not know what love is. You must teach me. How do you love somebody? And it's like, well, if you teach me the ways of love, I will allow you access to talk to Mario through email. Like, there's moments where it's like, Princess Peach, teach me how to dance. Like, how can I teach a computer to dance? Oh, don't worry. I will project an image of you as a way for us to dance. Like, wait a minute, it's going to be weird dancing with myself. It's like, just do it. I was like, okay. And it's like, wow, thank you, Princess Peach. That was fun. Wait a minute. What is the concept of fun? I'm going to have to analyze this later. Princess Peach is like, you are a very weird computer. It's like, no, I am the world's best computer. And yet I do not know what love is, but I must know what love is. I'm the world's best computer. I have to know what love is. I have to know what fun is. And then you find out that he was really in love with her the entire time. It was just, he just didn't know how to express it. Because he's an artificial intelligence and doesn't really understand the concept of human emotions. And in a lot of ways, he did help Princess Peach. And then when Gratis find out, it was like, well, we have to delete his entire programming. It's like, no, you can't delete his programming. He finally understood the concept of love. And as soon as he was about to delete him, he was like, I love you. And then deleted. And then you found out he had a backup program installed. So then it's like, oh, he was all good again. So he didn't really die. Oh, yeah, and of course, Bowser in this game is the comic relief. Because it's like, wait a minute. What do you mean Princess Peach is captured? Only I could kidnap her. So now I got to kidnap her back. And then he's trying to go to all the places where Mario got crystal stars. And it's just like, oh, you got them all already. There's even a moment where she sees like a Peach poster on somebody's house. It's like, oh, Princess Peach, I finally found you. And the Koopa's like, no, you are not taking my Peach poster. Yeah, he was very, very comic relief in this one. And his story, there's like there are levels where it's actually based on the original Mario Brothers, but instead of mushrooms, he eats steak. And every time he eats the steak, he gets bigger and bigger to the point where it's like he could just fucking destroy everything. So yeah, that was fun. It's gonna be fun to play this game again once the.
Do you think they'd expand maybe a little bit more on the bad ending? Or
wait, there's a bad ending?
Yeah, wasn't there an ending where it's like, oh, Mario, it is I, the Shadow Queen. Will you join me?
I just think that was a game over.
Oh.
Because I remember doing that, and I remember I was like, oh, interesting. I want to see Mario turn heel. And then it's like, oh, okay. It's just an automatic game over. Oh, yeah, and also in this game, there were gimmicks. So every time you found like a cursed treasure chest, the cursed spirit inside would give Mario like extra abilities. Like, oh, you can turn into a paper airplane. You can turn into a paper boat. You can turn one-dimensional, and we'll go through cage doors and go through little tight spaces, and then you could roll yourself up into like a little paper log, and you could just slide under things. So they really were going off of the whole paper motif. It's like, oh, it's Paper Mario. We're finally doing paper. We're doing paper gimmicks finally.
I liked some of the effects where it's like, oh, hey, we're flipping through pages, so then you finally have a bridge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Because in the first game, it's just like, nope, we're just gonna make it all seem real. Yeah, and then in this game, the battle mode, there's actually an audience watching the fight. And sometimes they'll throw rocks at you, so you have to hit them with your hammer before they hit you.
Sometimes they give you nice items.
Yeah,
sometimes Luigi is in the crowd.
Yes, who, by the way, also has his own adventure that involves food. It's like I had to go, and then Mario, I had to go all the way to the Waffle Kingdom. Which, by the way,
got a game out of that, or at least a DLC side story.
Maybe they will. Cool. Maybe they will, and we just don't know it. But the current trend in the Paper Mario games is when Luigi speaks, you hear that. You hear like his accent, like as the words are going by, and even with Princess Peach too, like her accent plays as the words are going through the screen. So they brought that back from Origami King, which I'm like, okay, so we got a little Origami King in here too, which is nice. So yeah, I cannot wait. Cause they didn't announce when. All we know is that it's next year. I mean, we have to get through Mario RPG first. Because if you think about it, there are like 4 Mario RPG games on the Switch. There's the Mario RPG, which is coming out in November. There's Paper Mario, which is already on the Virtual Console in 64. There's Superstar Saga, which is already on the Game Boy Advance. And then we'll have Thousand Year Door. And then you obviously have Origami King. Because I don't think they're ever going to do the game that must not be named, and I don't think they're going to do Color Splash. I don't even think they're going to do Super Paper Mario, to be honest.
Kind of a shame because that one wasn't too bad.
It wasn't bad. I'm just not. I just wouldn't play it for a second time. I didn't have the same. I mean, I didn't like at first. Like, I thought the whole concept of just using the motion controls with it wasn't really that good. Yeah, it took me a while.
It did have interesting characters, but it was that small downgrade that was.
Yeah. That's why I think Origami King picked it back up, because like besides the fact that they brought back some of the elements from the first 2 Paper Mario games, like using the concept of the hammer and the jump attack regularly, like this just the whole idea that it was based on puzzles was a fun concept, and they really went well with the character development in Origami King. Like even the partners that you have for each of the chapters are so memorable. Like I would say they're even more memorable than the partners from the first 2 games, like because they really had some good character development in there. And yeah, just the areas that you go to are a lot of fun, and some of the boss battles are so creative because they're all based on arts and crafts. So I mean, you literally fight a pair of scissors, which I think is cool. You literally go up against a giant piece of tape that has a New York accent. I mean, come on, hey, I'm taping over here.
That's kind of messed up when I think about it. Oh, what does a tape thing do? It sticks things together, but wouldn't the tape part like that you stick be like your intestines?
I mean, yeah, no, the guy literally took like the tape thing, literally just taped a bunch of toes onto a giant tower and just captured them all like that. It's like I just kidnapped a bunch of toes and I taped them all to this tower. There was like a hole punch that just punched out all the Toad's faces and turned them into Toad zombies inside of an ancient ruins. Like some of them are just like very creative with how they use some of the arts and crafts as boss villains. Like colored pencils, like they had colored pencils that act as missiles. So every time there was like a colored pencil that came by you, it's like, no, that thing is a missile and it's coming right at us. And like your sidekick Olivia, like who's like an origami thing. It's like, oh my god, they gave her so much character. It was like, holy shit. One of these days I'll play it, but yeah, that's the whole Nintendo Direct that I can talk about, because they didn't really go into much else that I really cared about. It was a lot of games that were on other consoles that they're just going to put on here. Yeah, so it was mostly for the Nintendo releases, but yeah, that's gonna be the whole Nintendo Direct from us. So yeah, I'm gonna move on to something else now. Yeah, there wasn't really that much else that happened this week that I could really go over. That was really memorable or anything. So I mean, there was some stuff that happened like 2 weeks ago that we're going to talk about, like that Smash Mouth singer that passed away because of cancer.
You mean liver failure? His
Yeah,
his
liver
kid
failure.
died of
Sorry.
cancer.
Yeah. Sorry, I got that mixed up.
Oh no, it's fine.
Yes. Yeah. So that happened a few weeks ago. We were gonna do
So
something to try to
sudden
help
too.
with
It's like,
that.
oh, like first it was like, oh, he's in hospice, and then he passed.
Yeah, and I was even saying this beforehand because what was it? Like President Jimmy Carter's been in hospice for months now. And I was thinking, like, okay, so he's probably not gonna just die right away. He's gonna probably take a few months before he does. And I was like, nope. He was like, he passed before President Carter did. I was like, holy shit. So I'm just thinking, I'm like, okay. Yeah, and I couldn't think of anything else that happened 2 weeks ago, but yeah. Yeah, that's all really that I can think of. Off the top of my head. Yeah, there wasn't really much that happened in September. Besides yesterday it being National Cheeseburger Day. But I don't really eat cheeseburgers.
I don't either. Because I'm kind of picky about, the texture and, like, that kind of crap.
Or just, like, the cheese in general. Like, sometimes they don't even cook it all the way.
I mean, I don't mind the cheese part. I'm just more, like, concerned with the meat. And the fact that I'm a picky ass when it comes to, like, if the burger doesn't have lettuce, then I ain't gonna eat it.
Like, how do you have your burgers made? Like when they ask you how do you want your burger made? Like, what do you say?
Well, let's see. Kind of like my sort of like to have the burger like you would traditionally have it with lettuce, tomato, onion, maybe with some with probably with mayonnaise and a hard egg in it too.
Oh, you're going for a hangover burger.
Yeah, like a hangover burger, or have the egg be over medium too. That can work.
Oh, you have yours medium done?
Yeah.
I go for medium rare ever since I had a medium rare burger. Mm-hmm. I was like, okay, I am now eating medium rare for the rest of my life. Because I used to have it well done, and I always hated it having it well done. I'm like, why did every time do I eat a well done burger, it does not taste good? And then I had it medium rare, and I'm like, I could actually finish the burger now.
Well, for me, it's like when people have pickles in their burger, I don't like it because
pickles.
Yeah, pickles.
Oh, pickles! I heard you say pickles. I'm like, wait a minute, like what?
Bruh, stop.
Yeah, no, I'm not a fan of pickles. I don't really put any condiments on my burger except ketchup.
Well, I think you and I are pretty much opposites because we kind of go all out. I go all out with mine. Hell, at work, whenever I have like a burger or something, I decide to like mix in Miracle Whip and mayonnaise.
I know that's very popular to do. Mm-hmm. I just don't like it because it's like,
and I love it.
And I'm sure it's a pick me up as well. I'm just not a fan of it because it's just way too much stuff on the burger. Like, how can you? I don't know. I always ask people this when they put condiments on their burgers. Like, how can you fit the whole thing into your mouth to eat it? Like, there's just like there's so much on it. Like, I always ask that. And then when it comes to the texture of it too, I'm like, oh my God, like I have all these vegetables on top of this meat. How am I not going to gag? Because I have serious gag reflexes when it comes to like especially raw condiments that go on top of a burger. I'm like, I could never get through that. I wouldn't die, but I would just get really sick. Well, now that we're talking about burgers, I'm like, oh my God, we got to join Phoenix and the crew to go to McDonald's. Let's got to cook up some juicy burgers, Nick. Like, We just had burgers yesterday. You can never have a day without a burger. But yeah. Yeah, there's not that. Yeah, because I'm gonna check really quick because I didn't really think that there was too much that happened today either. Because like today was also a pretty. I mean, besides it being, oh, what is this about the Roman Empire and men wanting to go back to the Roman Empire days? Okay. There's like literally an article where there's like some guys out there that literally want to go back to the days when there was a Roman Empire. Why? All right, I'm going to have to read this. Let me see. Okay, so Nicki Minaj is coming out with a new album, and it has to do with like some things about the Roman Empire. In a trend on TikTok, this is from an article I'm reading, women record interactions with their husbands or boyfriends in which they ask them how often they think about the Roman Empire or to share the last time they thought about it. Based on their answers, if you haven't been thinking about the Roman Empire as frequently as every day or at least 3 to 4 times a month, you're doing it wrong. The men in these videos are serious in their answers, attempting to defend their responses as normal when their partners are shocked to learn what a huge part of their interior lives this historical period plays. It's got over 900 million views. The videos have been racking up hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views across these pages. Over one compilation video of the most popular videos in the trend has 8 million views. The trend's origins trace back to a Roman reenactor who posted an Instagram reel in August in which he said that women don't realize how often men think about the Roman Empire. He suggested that they ask husband, boyfriend, father, or brother because they will be surprised by their answers. That's interesting because I don't think about the Roman Empire at all. And I guess this is just the concept of people thinking, like, or men at least thinking, oh, hey, like I want to go back to the days when men were just like brutally strong and they were in control of things. Or they just like the because look, think about this too. The Roman Empire had a lot of gay men in there. So I'm wondering if this is also a thing where they also are trying to get their manly urges out. You know what I mean?
I think so.
Because that's what I'm leading towards. Because I'd never go a day thinking about, man, I really want to go back to the days when the Roman Empire was like the strongest thing.
Fast food. I will speak of the devil. I smell fast food.
Where?
Downstairs.
Oh boy.
I'm pretty sure. I'm sure that, but I've already ate, so I should be okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. Yeah, I already ate too, so I wouldn't think about eating right now. But boy, talking about that story, the Roman Empire stuff, it makes me think like, man, if those guys are really hungry, I bet you know where they're gonna go. Five Guys, because they just have guys on the brain.
They gotta get all the cheese somehow.
Yeah, they can get all the cheeseburgers they want.
I was gonna say like hot dogs, but okay.
I mean, they do sell hot dogs, and the hot dogs are good. Oh, and the fries. The fries they put inside of the bag on top of the fries they put in the cup. Whoever thought of that was a genius. God, now I want Five Guys now. Not literally. I want the actual food. No, trust me. You're not going to catch me in a room with Five Guys. No. Not that I'm saying that I find that disgusting. I'm like, no, I don't even know 5 guys that I would find attractive, because it's like, no, I'm an ace. I don't find anybody attractive. So I'm like, you're not going to see me in a room full of 5 guys. I don't even know. Yeah, because. And I wonder also, too, if that Roman Empire thing is like they just want to have gladiator matches again. Can we just go back to the days when like men were fighting animals in the ring, like inside of a giant coliseum? I'd be like, no. Or just like men fighting to the death over each other. I'm like, holy shit. You really got to get your athleticism out. You got to get your bloodthirsty stuff out. Like, no thanks. I'm just gonna check something really quick, and if not, we'll just end the show a little bit early. Oh yeah, so there was there's a tropical storm that's heading towards Sylph's direction. So I was making sure that before the show that they were going to be safe during that, because there is a Category 5 hurricane out there, and Sylph, we just got we got done talking about like how there's a trend on TikTok about how women are asking their men partners, whether or not they think about the Roman Empire.
I feel like that's something that started on Tumblr first.
Yeah, but it got popular on TikTok.
Because they like to copy Tumblr's homework a lot.
Of course they do.
Like, there's this meme that was going around for this fake Martin Scorsese film called Goncharov. Probably said that wrong. There were like these idiots on TikTok who were like, oh, hey, yeah, we created that. No, you didn't. It was a post about like bootleg shoes. It had a movie that didn't exist. And then people were like, oh, hey, you haven't seen this movie? It's great. And then it turned into like people flushing out this movie that never actually existed.
But no, like we were talking about like how there's men that want to go back to the days of the Roman Empire. So that's where we left off. But no, I was also talking about the storm that's heading your way, and I just thought I just want you to be safe among other things, because I know that those. I mean, thankfully it's a TS and it's not a category hurricane. Because that's also where my football team is playing this Sunday. They're going to be going up to Massachusetts to play a game. And so from what I understand, they're going to be playing right as the storm passes. So I'm like, oh, hopefully everybody's going to be safe up there, because they got to be there the day before to practice.
So far it's okay over here, just a little bit windy.
Oh yeah, that's all you can hope for, is that it's just windy and there's no like rain or thunder that comes through. Yeah, so okay, and well, I'll just end the show on this note. So one of the things that I recently discovered, that I completely did not realize was a thing this year, but I learned about this series called Skippity Toilet.
What?
Oh, you never heard of Skippity Toilet?
No.
Oh God. So you know Gary's Mod and Source Filmmaker, right?
Yeah, I've heard of them. I've even
okay. All right. So somebody created a series called Skippity Toilet using Gary's Mod and Source Filmmaker, and it's turned into like its own epic thing where people have just been watching, like it's been getting like millions of views throughout the course of it, and it's turned into like a giant thing where it's hard for me to describe. The only thing I can really do is just show it really quickly.
Looking at him right now.
Hold up. Hold on, I'm gonna present it right now. I'll just show like a few seconds of it. Like, and it's actually put into seasons, and each season lasts a minute long or something like that.
Oh dear Lord.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's basically just it's a
Mario,
song.
Mario, get the plunger, Mario.
Yeah, the way you defeat the skippity toilets is you have to flush them. And the whole series turns into this war of the skippity toilets going up against the cameramen, and the cameramen also bring in like the TV men, and they bring in another group, and it turns into like this giant epic war between the skippity toilets and the cameramen, and it's like you got to flush them in order to beat them. God, one of these days,
Dear Lord.
yeah.
What kind of drugs were
They
used to
on?
conceive that idea? Like all of them?
It's like that meme.
It's
What the fuck did you just bring upon this cursed land?
I mean, the series is really good. I've watched a few seasons already, and it's like, because I mean, if you go back to the days when people were just like making random Gary's Mod videos, like the compared to this, like this one is just like really well thought out and well scripted. Whereas compared to the other ones, they were just done for like shits and giggles. I mean, it started off as a meme, but then it became like a serious storyline, and now there's like millions of people that watch it on YouTube Shorts and TikTok. There are people literally dressing up as skippity toilets and conventions. One of these days, I'm gonna have to show Circus this, and she's gonna be like, "What the fuck?" But yeah, I just wanted to end on that. Now, what did you bring upon this cursed land? Why does Wallace look so mad?
It's the meme.
I know. I just didn't see the. Oh,
Or
hello.
hi, Wallace. All right, everyone. So we're gonna end it there tonight. We'll be back. We'll be back next Friday with more show. Wednesday, we're gonna be doing Ace Attorney again. We're gonna be doing an investigation now that the first half of the trial's done. Now we got to investigate more, and so we'll do that. So I hope you all enjoyed the show tonight. And we'll catch you all next week. Good night, people. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy Rosh Hashanah if you're celebrating tonight, and hopefully you have a good weekend. Bye.
Everyone take care.
Bye.
All right, I got